All right, everyone, what's going on? So my name is Chase Vance. You'll get to see me as a moderator for several different discussions that'll be happening here with Sourcing at Magic online over the next 3 months or so. And today, I have the pleasure of introducing to you Frances Harder. Many of you out there may know her from previous Magic shows that you've been to. And for anyone that is new to Frances Harder, she's the president of Fashion for Profit Consulting. And she's probably going to be one of your go-to people for a lot of different resources and all kinds of information to know for anyone, whether you are a startup company, if you're new to the apparel industry, up to anyone who I would say who's doing under $10 million a year. You'll find a lot of her resources invaluable to your business. So Frances, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you. Today we're going to be doing a discussion for the checklist for your apparel startup. So Frances, please go ahead.
Thanks so much, Chase. Thank you, Aaron. And really appreciate this opportunity and look forward to working with you for over the next 3 months. We've worked before and it was great. Okay, so here we go. So now I need to, I'm going to put this, where am I putting this? Sorry, up here, I think. Yeah. Here we go. Share. Okay, good. Thank you so much. All right, so here we go. Checklist for apparel startups. Well, we know there are lots of things that are changing in the industry. This is a little overview of my own background. I've been in the industry for many years. I was trained as a designer, also as an educator, and I've had my own line of business. I've had my own line under license in Japan. I've been consulting, and I've got a new consulting job with the United Nations in Egypt, which is going to be starting very soon, which is exciting, helping cotton producers. I work with a lot of companies who are starting out and growing, and I also work as an expert witness in legal disputes. So if you need any more information, just let me know. So that was that one. And next. Where's that? Why is it going? It should go in. Here we go. Okay, questions to ask yourself before starting your own business. So it's important that you understand what this whole venture is about. If you're just beginning, you've got an idea, where do you go? Because having an idea is just the beginning. You certainly need to understand this industry, which is multifaceted, very complicated, can be incredibly brutal. So we're just going to go through some of the things you should really sit down once you've got that great idea and think about, do you have what it takes to move this forward? Okay, do I have what it takes to own and to manage a small business? Am I a self-starter? How good am I at making decisions? Do I have the physical and emotional stamina to run a business? How well do I plan and organize? Are my attributes and drive strong enough to maintain and motivate? And will the business affect my family? A lot of people have an idea and they think starting a business is going to be easy, and it's not. You know, if you've been going to work and you're working from 8 to 5, sometimes doing a little bit of overtime, if you're thinking of starting your own business, you need the stamina to be able to work long hours, all weekends. So if you do have a family, how are you going to juggle all these things, which is difficult? So having a good balance in life obviously is, well, we're going through it now, but understanding how are you going to balance this, creating a new business to your family or to your own personal life. So the next thing is, have I researched the market? You've got an idea. Have you researched the market? Is there a niche for this? Is there a need for this? Did you develop your new product due to the realization that there was a need for this product? So that's the most important thing. A lot of people start with that. We don't need a new t-shirt, which is, you know, seeing a lot of t-shirt companies starting out. There are plenty of t-shirts. So having a good, really niche market is really key. Spend the time to do the research, walk the stores, do the internet searching, shop in a variety of locations and compare customers, price points, and products. Investors will want to see that you have done your homework and know that you understand the target market. Now, this is also goes to depending on your demographics. So if you're in California, what difference does that make, say, to Miami? Well, we know when I was doing designing, the buyers would always say, don't forget that Dallas or Texas and Miami, they always want a little bit of bling included. So think about what it is, who you're selling to, what are the demographics of the people you want to sell to. What price bracket will my clothing line fall into? After researching the market, you will have a better comprehension of this question. Starting any business requires money. It costs money to develop the product. It requires money to produce the product. You may be lucky enough to have a loan or get a loan from somewhere, but loans are not easy to come by for a new company. Do not put yourself into too much debt at starting a new venture. Plan to build slowly if you have to, with as little borrowed money as possible. There is money out there now with SBA, and I know that for a fact because I was approved for a small loan, but it's important that, I gave them, I had to do an application. I had to clearly define what it was for. It's actually for to develop online classes for international markets. So that's exporting, they call it exporting IP, intellectual property. So what are the legal aspects of starting a business? We will be doing a more comprehensive sessions on these, Chase, as we know, about legal, financial, these will come up. So this checklist is your checklist to go from. And then once our series is started, this will be our first checklist, and then we'll be going on to more thorough understandings, whether it's the legal, whether it's financial, marketing, all the rest of it that goes into it. So a bank account, you'll have to start up your own bank account with checks. So hopefully you think of a name so you can register your name, whether it's a sole proprietor. I recommend starting off as a sole proprietor. There will be licenses, so you have to go to your city and get a business license. Are there any zoning laws, other regulations varying from business to business and state to state? Consult your attorney, or SBA has got some very good free information, and I know that from working with them over the years. So find out what it is you need to do. Ask them. It's free most of the time. What form of organization, incorporation, partnership, sole proprietor, so that this will understand your tax status. You will have to register your fictitious name and your domain. So do not come up with a name that's too close to other people's. They'll send you a cease and desist. So fictitious name, thinking of that, I don't advise you using your own name. You can lose your own name like Jill Sanders did to Prada. So think of a good name. Think of, it doesn't have to mean anything, like Nike or, these Lululemon, what does it mean? But you've got to think of a name that can begin to stick in people's minds. If you come up with some French name or foreign name, they'll forget it, particularly in America where they don't really have many languages that they're speaking. Domain name the same. Check your domain name before you register your fictitious name. So thinking of all those things before you even begin. Okay. Next. Sorry. All right. So a lot of people begin with a partner. Would it make it easier with a partner? Well, what is your partner going to do for your business? You have to have a partner that is not in competition with you. You don't want two designers going into business. Maybe a designer and a financial person. A business partner does not necessarily guarantee success. If you require additional management skills or startup capital, engaging a partner may be a good decision. The ultimate success of partnership will be determined by the ability to give technical or financial assistance, as well as personality and character. You don't want to end up having conflicts with these people all the time. You don't want to end up ruining your friendships. If you have a good partner, do you know him or her well enough to operate a business together? Like any close relationship, working in close proximity can often lead to conflicts between two good friends. I've been there, done that. Define the jobs to be done by each partner by making a list of jobs and dividing them up. It is better to choose a partner who has other skills from yours and who can complement your skills. Should I hire a family member to work with you? Frequently, family members of the owner, he or her business, can help for some small business owners. Having that experience, my husband's an engineer, so he's got much more hands-on details maybe to the financial side than for me. So I come from the creative side, or I like to think I do, but although I had to learn the business side. So carefully consider your loyalty and respect for you as an owner and manager. Don't want to blow those up. Is it possible to keep a family and business decisions separate? You don't want to be arguing over dinner, over business decisions. If you borrow money from a family member, remember that they are loaning money because of their relationship with you and not because of the product's worth. When you borrow money from an institution, they loan money on the product development by you and the collateral and experience that you provide. When dealing with a family member, you are their collateral. They are investing in you, the person, not the product. So having a good understanding of where this relationship comes from. How much money do I need to get started? One of the leading causes of business failure is insufficient capital. If you can begin to produce a small line of no more than 10 items, it may be possible to continue a normal day job and start your new venture on the side. And actually today is a very good time to start a new business because most of it's going to be done online anyway. So you can begin to offer your products slowly, maybe doing pop-up stores, finding ways that you can market and just doing small production and building your brand base. If you do not intend to have a second income, then you must plan on having enough money in the business to cover operations expenses for 1 year or maybe 2. Sometimes using credit cards with a low interest rate will enable you to finance some of the startup costs and cover some production costs for your first line. If you do use your credit card, paying it back in a timely manner will be very important. If you have bad credit, you cannot start a business on bad credit because businesses are run on credit. So you're buying your fabric, you want credit from them. You don't want to have to pay them up front. It's all a matter of juggling that money. So it's impossible to start with bad credit. What do I have to do to get a loan? For women and minorities, there are loans available and the SBA can be very helpful, particularly now when there are so many people and businesses in trouble. When applying for a loan, here are 3 of the most important questions that will be asked. How much do you need to borrow? How will you spend the loan? How do you intend on repaying the loan? When you apply for a loan, a clear description of your experience and cohesive business plan will be required. In fact, do you have that business plan? What kind of a profit can I expect in the first 2 years? Consider that for the first 2 years, a business there can be very little profit because the money's going in and the money's going out. It takes money to build money. So however, after the first couple of seasons, there should be enough money coming into the business to at least cover operation expenses. Do it from your home, build slowly. If you need people to work for you, get them on a 1099. So on an hourly basis, you don't want to employ people. It costs a lot more money with overheads. Cash flow will improve as your business grows and a good financial planning. So that's why planning is critical for you in the beginning. What should you know about accounting and bookkeeping? It's all about money, isn't it? Those creative ideas that you have, those creative people who start with an idea, do you have what it takes to understand bookkeeping? The importance of keeping adequate records cannot be stressed enough. Without records, you can see how well your business is doing. Without records, you cannot see and where it's going. At minimum, records are needed to substantiate your tax returns under federal and state laws, including income tax and social security laws. Your application for credit from vendors or from loans from banks. Your claims about the business should you wish to sell is important. But most importantly, you need to keep records to run your business successfully and to increase your profits. Keeping an eye on where that money's going. And as you know, I talk to a lot of people all the time, they underestimate how much it costs to start a business. Those developments of samples, paying people to do your product development, it can be extremely expensive. So can I operate my business from a home? Yes, in fact, experts estimate that as many as 20% of new small businesses operate out of their own owner's home. With increased use of computer and cyberspace, home-based business owners are able to access all types of information without leaving the comfort of their home. Contract out as much as possible before starting to pay employees. Manufacturing sewn products from your home for resale purposes is against the law in most states and can have a high penalty for use. This is why I'm always amazed when I see Etsy and I see people selling their goods that they've sewn. In California, they have very, very strict rules about manufacturing. You cannot sew from your own home, and you have to get a contracting license. And it's really important that you understand the law, otherwise they can come and confiscate it. So contact your nearest SBA or Chamber of Commerce who can provide pertinent information on how to manage home-based businesses. Each city has its own variants, so it is also advisable to call your local city hall for information pertaining to your local area. I'm registered with my city hall, and where I am, it's not particularly expensive. It's like $100 a year. But that business license, you will be showing that to get your resale license, which enables you to buy things without paying tax. So these are the things, understand all these pieces before you go and launch your new business. How do I find out about suppliers, manufacturers, sales rep? Most suppliers want your new accounts. Trade shows and trade papers are good means of finding the right company for the right jobs. So again, we'll be doing more comprehensive discussions on suppliers, walking the show floor with the new virtual showroom with sourcing that's being built now. And I just talked to Andrew this morning about possibly doing a walkthrough. So those of you who are looking for suppliers, we will walk you through and explain to you what you need to understand, what questions you need to be asking. They're going to, understanding, do they handle small quantities, knowing what you need to compare apples to apples when you go to these trade shows. Finding sales reps at trade shows, well, going and you're just watching, you're observing, you're seeing how they're doing, which other labels are they actually selling from. This is also a very, very comprehensive and complex issue. And we hear so many people having either great success finding the right partners with a sales rep, or unfortunately they sign up, pay monthly dues, and they're paying them also a percentage. It can add up a tremendous amount, and they're not who they say they are. Checking credits, checking credentials, making sure that these people that you choose are the right people. It's very, very important that you know who you're working with and check them out. How do I market my products? Marketing is one of the most important operations involved in promoting and finishing product. Whether you're selling direct, mail order, on the web, or selling through a sales representative, the objective is the same: reaching as many people as possible and sell at a profit. Do you plan to eventually sell internationally? And can you define your market, your global market? Developing countries are creating middle-class consumers rapidly. In 11 years, the Pacific Rim will have a larger market than the US. China will be #1 middle-class market in 2022. So, and we know, working with China now, and they love Made in America. So find a way of marketing that opportunity. I recommend when you're beginning to do domestic production. So thinking of ways of how can you reach out? Are you selling online to begin with? Well, with what's happening now with all the retailers closing up, being impacted because of what's happening with the virus, I would say definitely think of selling online. Start your own store online, even if you can sell through Amazon or other online marketing tools. Definitely look into that. And that's something we can talk about far more in the future. Over the next 3 months, we will be discussing those issues. Who will pick and pack and ship your products? Well, I've gone through this for many years, shipping my books from my library, from my own garage. So shipping and packing, or shipping it to Amazon, that's another way. I sell on Amazon, so I ship to their warehouse. They do the pick and packing. So it's important for you to understand how will that impact your costing. Will you be selling direct to the consumer or traditional sales method? If you sell direct, then take costs of the shipping will be important to calculate into costs. Also, it will be important to understand how much time does that take. Usually somebody who's doing picking and packing is probably earning minimum wage. So you have to think about what these direct costs are going to affect your overall cost for the cost of goods. And we'll be doing a much more comprehensive costing session, which is quite intense. So we're actually going to divide it up in 2 parts. So look out for that one, which will give you a much better idea of what you need to be thinking about. What do you need to do now? Create an investment deck. So this is another thing you should be thinking about. I would say start with your investment deck, because that will give, it's like an overview. Once you've got your investment deck, that will then build into your business plan. Your business plan can also be helped through SBA, but an investment deck, we will also be discussing an investment deck, and I'll show you how to begin that later on in our series. Figuring out the money, get family behind you, choose a business name, register domain name, incorporation, figure out your legal structure, apply for EIN, that's your tax ID number. Apply for a business license from your city or for your business. Set up a website, register social media profiles. These are all the things that obviously will help you reach your next level. So these are some of the questions, just a few of them that you really seriously need to answer before you start investing your savings. Start your revenue stream, order business cards. Obviously, you've got to open a bank account under your new business name. Set up your account system, assign responsibility to co-founders, find free advice or form an advisory board, consult your insurance agency, and secure coverage. You don't want to get sued just as you get started out because something happens. Line up suppliers and service providers. File for trademark and patent. It's another thing, legal aspects. We'll be talking about that later on. Work with your network, and I can't stress that enough. Networking is key. Reach out to people. Those doors open. It's amazing. They know someone who can help you. That person knows somebody else who can help you. Keep on building on your network. Refine your pitch. A good elevator 20-second max. And when I'm doing sessions with people, I say, give me an elevator pitch. They stand up and they're going rabbiting on for ages. We don't need that. We just need a short pitch, 20 seconds, what it is you're doing. Look at Lion's Den. When they come in, they have to explain what it is that they're doing so that they can draw people in and then maybe make people interested enough to invest in it. Get a salesperson or a sales team in place. Understand the right salespeople for your product. Your checklist may be longer than this, but organizing what needs to be done before you launch and what can take care of now down the road makes it easier to prioritize your tasks. So going through this list now is going to be checking it off, finding out who can help you, who in your network can do certain things. Maybe accounting may help you with opening up doors to manufacturing, to sales reps, all those things. Okay, so those are some of the checklists, and we'll look forward to receiving your questions and answers. They can email them to us. Chase, do we know how they're going to be doing that?
Yeah, so I actually have a couple questions here that I've just kind of been taking some notes here as we speak. This is actually a good thing just for everyone else out there to know as well. So these are, of course, many of them are pre-recorded, but we'll also be doing several live webinars where there'll be myself, Francis, and a couple other folks where you and everyone else out there that could be on your team will be able to ask questions live on the spot. So make sure to stay up to date for those updates whenever those will be out there. And you'll see all those on all of the Sourcing It Magic social media and so forth. But yeah, I guess for a couple here, before we wrap up, going back to the beginning, there was really two areas that stood out here. So when it comes to researching the market, I was just thinking about this when it comes to finding your brand. I guess it's a recommendation for everyone out there, but it'll turn here into a question. Looking at, so right now we're here in Sourcing It Magic. This is where you're here to meet all the suppliers and service providers that you would need for your company. But for doing market research, that's where I would suggest, you could go over to the other trade shows under the Magic umbrella. And that's where you'll be able to find tons of other brands that you'll be able to see where you fit within the entire ecosystem and make sure that you're differentiated enough. So that's an ideal way for doing market research. And also, hopefully within a year or so's time of being able to implement a lot of these, you'll be able to chat with their team and hopefully get a booth at some point in the near future. But I guess my question is, in addition to looking through the trade show directory and so forth and walking the shows for market research, what are some other outlets that you would suggest for understanding the market in addition to just like a Google search? I'm just curious if there's a few resources that you'd recommend.
Yes, well, I would, like Los Angeles and New York, you've got the showrooms buildings. So I would suggest you walk around those and you look and see which brands they're showing. Are they brands that you would want to hang with? Another thing is go to sort of stores boutiques that check out the brands in there, find out who their sales reps are for those brands, who do the stores work with as far as sales reps are concerned. Be very cautious though, because we've heard so many, negative about, finding the wrong reps and not finding the right ones. Sometimes they'll find you. So if you do decide to take a booth at one of the shows and this sales reps are there, they will oftentimes say, here, take my business card, I might be able to help you. Check them out. Do your due diligence with everybody. Make sure that you know that they are representing companies that you want to hang with, and that the price points are right so they match your own merchandise. So doing a check, finding out, walking the showrooms. And I know in Los Angeles they do, once a month they do the sample sales, last day of Fridays. I'm not sure they do that in the moment until all this horrible drama is over, but that's one way. But as you say, Chase, walking the shows yourself, seeing what the reps are actually repping, what lines they've got, seeing which show you would fit in with, whether it's pool or whether it's, there are so many different shows there at Magic that you can walk and find out which one is the right fit for you. Whether it's swimwear or lingerie or menswear, children's wear, there are certain shows that you should be with and looking at. Yeah. Okay. Then one more thing, anybody who's interested, what we talked about today is really a teaser, but if you are interested, you can go to my website, Fashion for Profit, and if you give the code sourcing, I will give you the special discount for $40 savings for the business starter package. So keep that in mind, and hopefully, and also you'll get 20 minutes free consultation, which is really helpful. And obviously now it's all changed, Chase. I'm meeting these people at the shows and they buy the package, and then I can meet with them for 20 minutes and discuss their ideas and give them some leads and help them move to the next level. Now we've got all this virtual, but it's still possible. I'm meeting a girl tomorrow who lives near us that she bought the package. And it's so funny how, things do work out. She's actually a free book as well. So she's bought them online, but I'm giving her some extra stuff as well and some free consulting. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. You know that.
Of course. So, well, excellent, Frances. Thank you very much. So this, this covers pretty much everything here for the first checklist that we'll go over. And as Frances mentioned, this is like your foundational checklist. And then we'll be going over several other, again, related to finance, costing, and legal over the course of these 3 months. So Frances, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks so much.